What's up, everybody? The Washington Wizards are hosting a struggling and depleted Brooklyn Nets team Friday night in DC. In this episode, we're going to discuss potential lineups, injury updates, and our keys to victory. Next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Scott again with my guy, the real Ed Oliver. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. And today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. So, Friday night, Brooklyn coming in depleted. Got a lot of stuff going on. We're going to talk about it in a little bit. But looking at the three position, if you're Wes Unseld, do you roll out Gill again, or do you start Denny? Considering, he probably will be guarding KD.
Yeah, it's interesting, especially with Corey Kispert coming back. I could see a world where Corey Kispert starts. I honestly would like to see Rui get a chance to start too, just to experiment with lineups. I really love the lineup with Brad at the point. Rui was out there, Kuz was out there, Denny was out there, Porzingis was at the 5. It was just a big lineup, and it didn't really matter who the 2 guard was. It was just interchangeable guys, switchable guys that could defend. So yeah, I mean, I think he's going to go with Gill again. I think he likes what Gill brings with, the intangibles and just being coachable. Kind of like we said, he's the Nick Collison of the Wizards, where he just works hard on and off the court. I do like Denny coming off the bench a little bit because he gets to handle the ball a little bit more. But I could see a scenario where maybe Corey would start at the 3. Just because he can shoot the ball. Now, I know defensively it would be rough. I can see a scenario where Rui starts at the 3. So, but I do think tomorrow night they're going to start Gill. It just, with this team right now, it kind of matters who finishes and not who starts, because even with Monte Morris, like I said, I think their best lineup was the Bradley Beal lineup with Brad and Kuz, Rui, and Denny, and then Porzingis. So I think it really matters more who finishes the game. Like, I think when DeLon Wright comes back too, he's going to be finishing games. But KD is going to be a tough matchup. So is Denny going to be guarding him? We'll probably talk about that a little bit later too. But yeah, I think tomorrow night he's going to stick with Gill. He's going to try to integrate Corey in. If you look at the depth chart, Will Barton, maybe he might get an opportunity to start, but I like him coming off the bench too as a 6th man. So they really just don't have a perfect guy at that 3 spot. They really just don't have a natural 3-and-D guy. They have Denny, who they're trying to force into be a 3-and-D guy. Then they have Rui, who they're trying to force into be a 3-and-D guy. They just don't have the natural 3-and-D guy. All those guys are different kind of players than the 3-and-D, like a Jay Crowder or like a Mikal Bridges kind of 3-and-D guy that they're trying to make our guys into. So there's just no perfect answer, but I think Wes is going to start Gill, and then we may eventually see, like you said, Denny get that job back, or Rui get that job, or maybe even Corey Kispert at some nights.
Yeah, I think it may be too early to tell. It may be a game time decision because, if you look at Brooklyn, Kyrie just got suspended 5 games. We're not going to get into that, but, it is what it is. Ben Simmons is out. So, Ben Simmons is one of those players where he can play point guard, he can play at 4, him being out. So it really he's going to go off really what Brooklyn's going to send out there. You don't know if they're going to play KD at the 3 or the 4. If they play KD at the 4, they can slide in Joe Harris, which if I'm Brooklyn, I'm throwing shooters out there just because you're missing so much firepower with Irving being out and a lot of defense with, Ben Simmons being out. So you're going to try to outscore the other team. So you could see a lineup with Brooklyn, man, I mean, because they're depleted. And, even with Kyrie Irving, they were struggling. So Patty Mills maybe at point. If it was me, Cam Thomas at the 2, KD at the 4, I would put Joe Harris at the 3, and, of course, Nick Claxton. So, I don't know. You could see Gill because, like you said, he likes Gill. But if it's me, I would put Denny. I would start Denny just because I want Denny on KD. I think he can handle the job. KD, can you really stop KD? No, you can't. I mean, kind of contain him. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not going to stop KD. He's just a pure scorer. So I think that anybody on the team, it would be Denny who would have the best opportunity to kind of slow down KD. So yeah, it's tricky. But we said in the offseason that one of the things we liked about this team is we have a lot of players who can play multiple positions. So can West kind of piece together a rotation real quick? I think he can, because like I said, Brooklyn's struggling. They're 2-6 right now, and they got a lot going on. So yeah, I would definitely go with Denny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do have a lot of turmoil. Like you said, we don't want to get into the Kyrie Irving thing. The news broke this evening that he is going to be suspended for 5 games. Like you said, they were reeling with these guys. They fired their coach, Steve Nash, and guess who they're hiring? Ime Udoka. So I mean, it's just a crazy couple of days for this franchise. Them being 2-6 is definitely disappointing for sure, and they're definitely underachieving. But you look at their roster, they just don't have a lot of depth there. It's KD, Kyrie, Ben. Ben is getting acclimated. I don't even think he scored 10 points yet or double digits yet. So he's still trying to find his feet and get back into playing shape and playing mode. He hasn't played like the Ben Simmons that we've seen from the Sixers, nowhere near it. But they got KD, Kyrie, and Royce O'Neal. He's a good player. He's a solid player. Joe Harris is a shooter. Nick Claxton is a guy who's getting better each year. And then you look at their bench; they just don't really have a lot of depth. I mean, Patty Mills is a good player. He's always killed the Wizards. Cam Thomas is barely getting any playing time. You look at the last game they played; he got 1 minute, and then he also put up an Instagram post as well, basically kind of sending what do you call it, like cryptic messages that he's not getting playing time. Markieff Morris was a DNP, so their rotation's kind of off. You got a coach who just got fired and Steve Nash. You're bringing in Ime Udoka. Then you got the Kyrie, press conferences and whatnot. Joe, even their owner, Joey Tsai. I'm probably mispronouncing his name, but he's on Twitter, talking about Kyrie Irving as well. So it's just a lot of turmoil. And the last game they lost against the Bulls, Kyrie had 4 points, went 2 for 12, 0 for 6 from the 3-point line. So they're really struggling right now. And this is like a perfect game. This is a perfect opportunity for the Wizards to get a W against this team. I mean, you would look at on paper, you see KD, Kyrie, and Ben Simmons, what you think Ben Simmons would be, and you would say, oh man, the Nets have the advantage here. But honestly, it looks like the Wizards have the advantage over this team.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But before we move on, today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. How does it work, you ask? You pick 2 to 5 players, and if they go and score more or less than their PrizePicks projections, you can win up to 10 times your money on any entry. For example, I did a bet tonight on Thursday Night Football, so I'm hoping they come through for me. No competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available. PrizePicks offers projections on any sport that you can watch. This includes the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, NHL, PGA Golf, college football, men's and women's basketball, soccer, the WNBA, esports, NASCAR, tennis, mixed martial arts, boxing, disc golf, Euro basketball, cricket, and more. Entry can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy. Safe and fast withdrawals. Currently operational in over 30 states and Canada. Download the PrizePicks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code Locked On. If you deposit $100, PrizePicks will give you $100. If you deposit $50, PrizePicks will give you $50. Don't forget to enter promo code Locked On at sign up for instant deposit matchup to $100. PrizePicks. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast. The biggest stories of the day, plus instant reactions, big game recaps, and the take of the day. Available on Odyssey app, YouTube, wherever you get podcasts. So, injury update. As you know, Corey Kispert is back in the fold. So, with our current struggles at the 3-point line, do you think with Corey Kispert coming back, would that alleviate the pressure a little bit?
That's a good question. I was actually pulling up the numbers here on 3-point percentage. So we're ranked 21st in the league in 3-point percentage at 34%. Looking at Brooklyn too, they're not shooting the 3 ball well. They're ranked 22nd. But I think it will help for sure. I don't think 3-point shooting is really our calling. I just don't. I don't think it's our forte. I think our best attribute really is scoring in the paint. We're ranked 9th in the league in scoring in the paint, 51.5 points per game. I think we're going to run our offense through Porzingis, and I think a big part of it too. I'm not going to blame Bradley Beal or anything like that, but Bradley Beal over the years, he has regressed as a 3-point shooter. I think it's better suited for him in the mid-range game and getting to the basket. And he only shot 2 threes last game, and that was his best game of the whole season, in my opinion, last night against the Sixers, where he only shot 2 threes. He was very effective getting to the basket. He was very effective knocking down the mid-range shot, step backs. Those are his shots now. That's just his game. I think we have to realize that Bradley Beal is just not he's not an elite 3-point shooter anymore. And he's still a 3-level scorer. He's still capable, but he's just not he's not that guy where he's going to shoot 40% from 3 anymore or anything like that. So I just think we need to go with our bread and butter, which is getting the ball into the paint. Now, yes, in a perfect world, we want to shoot more threes. That's what the NBA game is now, shooting a bunch of threes, spacing the floor out. I get that. I think Corey can definitely help with that, and ball movement will help our threes too. So Corey will definitely help with making it a threat. Porzingis, he attracts double teams, so Corey will be a guy that can just catch and shoot and knock it down. Bradley Beal attracts double teams too, so Corey's got to be ready. I think he definitely can help. I think Will Barton's a good 3-point shooter. I think Monte is a good 3-point shooter. Rui's a good 3-point shooter. Denny is getting better. He's improving at 3-point shooting. Kyle Kuzma is capable as well. But to answer your question, I do think Corey will help, but I just don't think this team should lean on shooting threes. I think they need to stick with getting the ball to Porzingis in the post and getting Brad off the screens and getting to the basket.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree on all accounts. I think that, Corey coming back will help. I think we will shoot better in the long run, but this, like you said, it's just not our cup of tea, man. It's just, 3-point shooting has been a struggle for a while now, man. So, I agree that, scoring in the paint, especially when you got Porzingis, who has just been playing crazy out of his mind lately. I mean, he's playing at all-star level. So, them running the offense through KP, I think, we mentioned in the last episode, the offense is more fluid. Let Brad kind of be that scorer. And like you said, is he still a 3-level scorer? Yes, but his 3-point shooting has taken a dip. It's very noticeable. Ooh. And so, yeah, more mid-range. And I think another aspect we're kind of forgetting is that I like to see his team drive the lane a lot more. Kyle Kuzma, with his size, when he's on, he's able to attack the rim and really score some impressive baskets.
Yep.
And I think that with them driving the lane more, you will see more touches at the free throw line. I think it's a win-win. I want to see them attack more. I want to see more of a killer instinct on the offense. I think there's enough athleticism scoring on his offense that they can, kind of push the pace. I know we've been saying that forever, and I know, haven't seen too much of the offense going faster, but I think you can be fast in fluidity. And then what I mean by that is not so much picking up the pace, because Monte is just not going to do that. It's just, getting the ball off faster, passing the ball around faster, finding an open guy, really, I think that's where we're more successful, is finding an open guy, opening up the shots for Kuz, for Brad. So no, I totally agree. Looking at the injury, obviously DeLon Wright's still out, we talking, his presence is felt, but on the other side of the aisle, Ben Simmons being out, hate him or love him, the shot, we could talk about that. That could be a whole episode in itself. But his defense, he has proven to be an all-star level defender. So, I think that's a loss on Brooklyn. So with this game, I think we definitely have to take advantage. This is the right moment to knock off the Brooklyn Nets. Because I think this is a very winnable game. So, with all the issues they have, this is the right time to kind of smack them in the face a little bit. They ain't trying to be violent, but the metaphor is just, this is the perfect time, because you never discount KD. KD is just KD. KD's going to score. He's probably going to drop 30, and they're probably going to lose the game. Just the way it is. So, I totally agree.
Yeah, and Porzingis can shoot the 3-2, so he's a guy that can space the floor and knock it down. Just looking at three-pointers attempted per game, Washington, we're dead last in three-pointers attempted a game with 28.3. New Orleans, the Pelicans, they're at 28.6. The Atlanta Hawks, they only attempt 29.3. They're ranked 27th. The Clippers are ranked 25th with 31.3. So the Clippers are a good team. Atlanta's a good team. Chicago's a good team. They're with 29.1. So, I used to think 3-point shooting in this day and age, of course, Golden State's, they're number 1, 41.9. But there are good teams that are not shooting a lot of threes, like Chicago, DeMar DeRozan. Like, honestly, Brad's shot chart is starting to look like DeMar DeRozan, because he's shooting a lot of mid-range shots. and he's getting to the basket a lot. And he's not shooting a lot of threes. Like I said, the Clippers are a good team. New Orleans, they're a good team with Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, CJ McCollum. So 3-point shooting isn't everything. It's a plus for us, but I just think the way this team's constructed, I think we're just better getting to the basket, and we're just we can try to change our identity to shoot more threes, but like I said, last night is what we should do. I know Joel Embiid was out. I know Kyrie's going to be out tomorrow and Ben Simmons, but like you said, we got to take advantage of this. We got to be not to be too violent, like you said. We got to put our foot on their necks. We smell blood right now. We have to go for the kill against this team. We got to take advantage of these opportunities against teams right now. Missing people.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. Look, I'm not mad they got people out.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let's roll. But you got to take advantage because, we always preach that the Eastern Conference is a monster. So if you have the opportunity to get a win against the Brooklyns, with key players being out, go for it. Because I know this team is kind of frustrated fans a little bit the last 3 games before the win, but I think they will get better. I'm still optimistic with this team. I think this is a winnable game. I think it gives us momentum because the schedule doesn't get easier. We turn around, we have Memphis, and they're a good team. They're a team that's going to be a sleeper in the West. So, but I think this team will turn it around. It's just, you mentioned the last episode is the one key to this team is everybody finding their identity and playing that role. I think that was that was the best comment I've heard in a while for this team because it's clear cut. If they can identify their roles and play those roles, I think this team can be that team we want them to be. It's just, I think at their worst, I hate the ISO ball, man. I've said it before. I hate the ISO ball. I hate, it's a team sport for a reason. This team is a good team, but when we start playing like individuals, we see the team, the L's we took because of ISO ball. So, overall, just playing team basketball, and that's going to slide into our keys to victory. So, going into Friday night's game against Brooklyn, what are your keys to victory for the team to beat the Brooklyn Nets?
Of course, defense, transition defense has to be better. Communication has to be better. Running the offense through Porzingis, like you said, everybody knowing their role. I think, of course, it's about wins and losses. But I think if they play good ball, like you said, team ball, that will give them the best chance to win. The way they played last night, playing team ball, Denny being that defensive stopper, Brad being that scorer, not being a point guard, just being a scorer, Porzingis being the scorer that he is, just being a mismatch. I don't see anybody that can check Porzingis. So the first 3 plays, I want to see them get the ball to Porzingis in the post on Nicholas Claxton. If they're playing Markieff Morris, if they're playing Sharp, their other big backup big. I don't see if KD is guarding Porzingis, that's still a mismatch. So my big key, of course, is feeding Kristaps Porzingis because he seriously is having an all-star year. And he hasn't been an all-star since 2018, and he didn't have back-to-back double-doubles, you said last night, since 2020. So he's seriously playing at an all-star level. So give him the basketball quickly. Get back on defense. Also, transition defense, got to get back, defend the paint. And just how they're going to guard Kyrie. I'm not like Kyrie. How are they going to guard Kevin Durant? I don't want to see them double him, because when we double James Harden, it just didn't work. So I don't want to see them double him. I know he can go off for 40, and it may be that kind of night, but he can still lose. So I would not double Kevin Durant. But they got to guard the 3-point line. The Wizards are 27th in the league with 3-point percentage allowed, giving up 40% from the 3-point line. So I want to see and push the pace, like we said, too. Denny, if he gets the rebound, push it. Rui, if he gets the rebound, push it. Kuz, if he gets the rebound, push it. I don't care who you are. If you get the ball, push it, because all these guys can handle the rock. Porzingis can handle the rock a little bit, too. I'm not saying he needs to get the ball and always push it, but all of our young guys can get the ball and push. Rui, Kuz, Denny, Brad, Barton can push. So just push the pace. Let's run. Let's have some fun. Brad said he wanted to get back to having fun. I think they had fun last night against the Sixers. So just push the pace. Let's run. Let's get good shots. Feed Porzingis. And let's communicate on defense.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on all of them. For me, total team defense. Communication on the defensive end. People knowing their defensive assignments. There has been confusion with people not knowing their assignments and kind of taking the time to get down the court. Transition defense, another. I want to see a complete team defensive effort against Brooklyn because look, Brooklyn's still a dangerous team. Seth Curry plays; he can shoot lights out. KD. I mean, what can you not say about KD's game? It's a mismatched roster, but it's the NBA. You can win or lose any given night. So, I would definitely not underestimate this team, but controlling the paint, you said it. I think KP is going to eat Nicholas Clash's lunch, man. I'm saying right now, he's not going to roll with KP, man. It's not going to happen. KP is going to do whatever he wants, and I see Gaff having a better night. I see Gaff.
I was going to bring him up too. Yeah,
I'm going to go ahead and predict 15 points, 11 boards.
Okay, I like it. I like it,
sir. So I think he's going to have a better game. It's just this team is turmoil. I think this is a very winnable game. Bradley Beal, like you mentioned, him, and you see this with a lot of franchise guys or guys who are used to being the guy, kind of giving the keys to KP to kind of run the offense. I think is going to be that defining moment for Bradley Beal, kind of handing the keys over and giving some responsibility over to KP, because I think by doing that, he's going to alleviate a lot of pressure off his shoulders, not having to be that guy every single game. KP has proven he is that good sidekick. I'm not going to almost say sidekick, man, because he's been playing the best. So kind of his partner in crime. You know what I'm saying? KP has been playing at all-star level. Kuz, he played well last game. I believe it was 18 points last game. So Kuz is really stepping into his role. So, just consistency. I think if this team is consistent, this team can go places, especially with Kispert coming back. So, and then finally, you already hit it, ball movement. Picking up the pace a little bit, catching the defense off guard, getting down the court. It doesn't have to be the point guard. We have guys, like you said, who can bring the ball up. KP can't bring the ball up. I'd rather see Brad, Monte, or Denny do it. But, just whoever gets rebound, push the pace, ball movement. So, those would definitely be my keys to victory Friday night. So before we roll, did you have anything else you want to cover today?
No, the Brooklyn Nets, they have the worst defensive rating in the league. So they're the worst defensive team in the NBA. They ranked 30th. We're ranked 10th in defensive rating. Our offensive rating is ranked 25th, and they're ranked 14th. Points in the paint, we're 9th. Points in the paint allowed per game, we're ranked 1st in the NBA. So we're doing a really good job protecting the paint. I think that is a big part of that is because of Porzingis. But like you said, the guys that I'm looking at that to have a big game, like I said, Gafford, and I really do want to see Denny finish around the rim on layups. He's made some really good moves, but he's got to finish. $100 move, 10-cent. He has to finish around the rim. And I want to see Rui off the bench. I think Rui's going to have a good game tomorrow night too. But I think Porzingis is going to have another big game tomorrow night.
Yes, sir. I definitely agree. I think this is a win. I'm going to go ahead and predict it. 107-96. I'm gonna call it. We're gonna D them up.
Is this in DC? This is a home game.
Yeah, it's in Chocolate City. So
it
is. I think it's gonna be a dub, man.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the dub too. I don't know what kind of jerseys they're wearing. I don't know if they're wearing the 25th anniversary jerseys. I haven't seen anything about that. Not that it matters, but. I'm gonna go with the dub too. I think it's gonna be really close, 105-102. I think Kevin Durant misses a game-tying three-pointer to send it to overtime. He misses that shot, and we win against the Nets, and we go to 5-4.
Oh man, we getting suspenseful. Okay, I can roll with it. All right, cool. So, all right, everybody. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast. The biggest stories of the day, plus instant reactions, big game recaps, and the take of the day. Available on Aussie app, YouTube, wherever you get the podcast. Again, check me and my dude, the real Ed Oliver, out on Twitter and Instagram. Friday night at home against the Brooklyn Nets. Watch, show your support, and let's get this dub. Everybody have a good night, and peace.
Peace.